Welcome to the GCSE Maths Advantage. I'm Dr. James Carter, and every episode I'm going to break down one topic, show you where the marks are, and give you a quick win you can use in your next exam. Whether you're targeting a grade 7 or pushing for a 9, let's get into it.
Hook. This one question lost more marks than any other on last year's higher paper, and it was just completing the square. Students rushed, forgot to factor the leading coefficient, and lost method marks they could have had. If you've ever stared at a quadratic in the exam and thought, I don't have time for that, this episode is for you.
Sound familiar? I always freeze when the coefficient isn't 1. Tell me the trick that actually sticks.
The concept, step 1. We'll work through a single exam-style example. 2x squared plus 8x plus 3. Write it down. 2x squared plus 8x plus 3. Our goal is to rewrite this in the form a into x plus p squared plus q, because that directly tells us the vertex and the shape.
First move, factor the coefficient of x squared from the x squared and x terms. Don't touch the constant yet. So factor 2 from the first two terms. 2 times x squared plus 4x plus 3. Why? Because completing the square works on the x squared plus something x pattern. We need leading coefficient 1 inside the bracket. Let that sink in.
So we always pull out the 2 if there's a 2 in front of x squared. That fixes the halving step, right?
Exactly. Step 2. Inside the bracket we have x squared plus 4x. Take half of the 4, that's 2, and square it. 2 squared is 4. We add and subtract 4 inside the bracket. 2, bracket x squared plus 4x plus 4 minus 4 plus 3. Why add and subtract the same number? Because adding 4 lets us make a perfect square trinomial, while subtracting 4 keeps the overall expression equal to the original. You're not changing the equation, just rewriting it.
Now group the perfect square and the leftover. 2x plus 2 squared minus 4 plus 3. Expand the 2 across the bracket. 2x plus 2 squared minus 8 plus 3. Combine the constants. 2x plus 2 squared minus 5. That's our completed square form. From this we read the vertex. X equals minus 2 and the y value is minus 5 when the quadratic is written as y equals 2x plus 2 squared minus 5. The minimum value is minus 5 and it occurs at x equals minus 2. That's the payoff.
Okay, that makes sense when the numbers are neat. But where do students slip up most here?
Common mistakes to watch for. 1. Forgetting to factor the leading coefficient, so they try to half the original 8 instead of the 4 inside the bracket. 2. Sign errors. When you add and subtract, students sometimes write minus 4 instead of plus 4, or vice versa. 3. Arithmetic mistakes combining the constants after distributing the factor. Any one of those loses you marks.
The exam technique, mark by mark. Imagine this is a 3-mark question asking you to show the vertex. The common mark scheme goes like this. M1 for the correct rearrangement or factor step, M1 for forming the correct square term, and A1 for the final answer. So your paper should show 3 clear stages. Factor the 2 from the first 2 terms, show the add and subtract step that gives the perfect square, and then the final simplified completed square form with the vertex read off. Write it down, don't just think it. The examiner wants to see the method.
If I run out of time, what's the single line I must write to secure at least one method mark? Good question. Write the factor step. 2x squared plus 4x plus 3. That alone often gets you an M1. It shows you know to make the coefficient inside 1. If you can also show the x plus 2 squared appearing, that's the second M1. Even if you don't finish the arithmetic, you've earned marks. Let the examiners reward what you show. Now, the quick win. A 10-second checklist you can run through under pressure. Say it to yourself out loud between reading the question and starting to write. Read the question twice. Factor the leading coefficient from x squared and x. Half the inside linear coefficient. Square it and add and subtract. Simplify constants, then substitute back if asked. Short version.
Factor, half, square, add, subtract, simplify. Check.
Is there a quick rule to know whether completing the square is better than the quadratic formula?
Yes. If the question asks for the vertex, sketch or minimum maximum, completing the square is usually faster and cleaner. If you need exact roots and the numbers are messy but you don't need the vertex, the quadratic formula can be quicker. Also, if the linear coefficient divides nicely after factoring the leading term, that hints completing the square will be neat. This is a grade 9 move. Pick the method that matches the question aim.
Practice prompt. Try this now. Complete the square for 3x squared minus 12x plus 7 and find the vertex. Pause the podcast, do it, and come back. If you want an answer checked, the show notes have worked solutions.
That's your quick win for today. If this helped, share it with a friend who's revising. You'll find more worked solutions and revision resources at jcacademyonline.co.uk. Until next time, trust the process and nail that exam. Stay curious.
Extended worked example. Let's walk slowly through a fractional coefficient case so you can see how to avoid arithmetic traps. Example, y equals 1 upon 2 x squared plus 4 upon 3 x minus 1. First, factor the leading coefficient from the x squared and x terms. That gives 1 upon 2 times x squared plus 8 upon 3 x minus 1. Yes, the 4 upon 3 becomes 8 upon 3 after factoring.
Next, half the inside linear coefficient. Half of 8/3 is 4/3. Square that. 4/3 squared equals 16/9. Add and subtract 16/9 inside the bracket. Half multiplied by x squared plus 8/3 x plus 16/9 minus 16/9 minus 1. Group the perfect square. Half multiplied by x plus 4/3 squared minus 16/9. Multiply out the half. Half multiplied by x plus 4/3 squared minus half multiplied by 16/9 minus 1. Evaluate the constant. Half multiplied by 16/9 is 8/9, so the constants combine to minus 8/9 minus 1 equals minus 8/9 minus 9/9 equals minus 17/9. So the completed square form is half multiplied by x plus 4/3 squared minus 17/9.
That looked scarier, but the steps were the same. Factor, half, square, add and subtract, simplify. Breaking it down made it feel doable. Final recap and challenge. 2-minute summary. Completing the square rewrites ax squared plus bx plus c as a into x plus p squared plus q. Always factor the a from the x squared and x terms first. Half the inside linear coefficient, square it, add and subtract inside the bracket, then simplify. Marks are given for your method, so write each step clearly. Your challenge before the next episode, complete the square for 3x squared minus 12x plus 7, sketch the parabola showing vertex and axis of symmetry, and time yourself, 2 minutes. Post your solution in the show notes forum if you want feedback.
That's your quick win for today. If you want 50 worked solutions covering every topic we discuss on this show, check the link in the show notes. Until next time, trust the process and nail that exam. Stay curious.